What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. Today we're going to talk about your money and what you should be looking into, what you need to be aware of, what's going on behind the scenes. I was in financial services for over 20 years. I've held many positions up to, executive management level. And I'm just sharing the truth, things that everyday people don't know about. So if that interests you, if you want to know more things about that kind of stuff, then click that follow button and learn more. Okay, because I think you should. It's free. It's like I'm your online banker, your online virtual banker. All right, let's get into this. Your money is not safe. The truth about banks, 401ks, and the new system. You guys, most people are not aware of what's going on. They don't know about their 401ks. They don't know about this secret meeting they just had. Okay, I'm going to dive into this today. Today, I'm going to tell you some things that no one is willing to say. Your money, your future, your financial system, none of it is what you've been led to believe. Some of it is, but there's a lot of things that most people don't know, okay? Banks in this country just met secretly. Yes, you heard me, secretly. They gathered behind closed doors to talk about how much risk they're carrying, how fast things are shifting, and how they need the system to hold together. These banks, I think there was 20 or 25 major banks that got together, and they're all seeing major red flags, concerns. They don't have the liquidity that they've had in the past. They're kind of in high alert right now. So if you didn't hear about this meeting, you'll never understand how much of your life is wrapped up in their decision making. In this crash course today, I'm going to explain what the secret bank meeting was all about. I'll tell you how your 401k, your pensions, and savings are exposed. I'll show you what the new financial system is looking like. Most importantly, I'll give you the steps you can take right now to protect yourself, build your power, and stop relying on systems that don't have your back. It's time to get real. All right, I want you to imagine this, okay? This is the secret meeting. I want you to imagine this, a room full of bank CEOs, lenders, regulators, all top tier institutions, okay? Recently, they met, not on CNBC, okay? Not in press conferences. I've got a little hair in my eye. Behind closed doors. And here was what their agenda was all about. Liquidity pressure. Banks don't have as much cash as they say. Credit risk. Loans that may not ever get repaid. Trust crisis. Banks don't even trust each other. How to keep the system from falling apart. That's what their meeting was about, okay? And why this matters to you. This meeting wasn't about fancy suits or talking points. It was about your money. Because when banks meet like this, it means they see stress. Many of you may know, you may have been hearing whisperings. There's conversations going on all over the place. But a lot of people don't know exactly what's going on. They don't know how their 401k is affected. They don't know about their pension. What? Okay, so I'm going to share with you the way your money is packaged. Okay, so when trust breaks between banks, it doesn't stay at the top. It flows down to every account, every borrower, every saver. If you have, I'm going to tell you, if you're not diversified and have, if you have over $250,000 in an account, it's time. You got to do something quickly. Okay, I would not even sleep on it. You need to make sure you're FDIC insured up to 250,000. If you're with a credit union, you are insured up, through the NCUA. Now, if you have multiple accounts, it's based through your social. So if you have some money in a trust, that trust is separate from your personal social security number. Okay, so if you've got 250,000 in your personal social account, and then you've got 250,000 in a trust, which has its own EIN. It's treated like a business. That's separate. You're good, okay? If you have more questions about that, send me a comment to me and I'll get back to you, okay? On that. Or I'll help advise you on what to do, okay? How your 401k plus pensions are really exposed. You've been told invest in your 401k, right? I had a 401k. Had. It's safe. It will grow. But what if I told you part of your 401k is exposed to this meeting we just talked about? Most people don't realize that. Many 401ks hold funds that invest in banks or in loans banks make. Let me say that again. Many of your 401ks, okay, it's like a fund of money, right? And not just yours, a whole bunch of people, like millions, okay? And those funds are invested in banks, or they're in loans, they're packaged loans that banks make. When banks carry hidden losses or fraud, those funds drop in value. Pension funds do the same thing. Big institutions feed losses into pensions and workers' pay. So you as a worker, you've been pouring into this pension, okay? Your money is being exposed to however they've, packaged up. What loans are, how is your money, what kind, they never talk to you about those things. And I'm going to get into that, okay? I'm going to explain how that works. What is a packaged fraud? That's a scary term, huh? Packaged fraud. Banks create or allow bad loans. I mean, they do take on, you're going to get your A paper, your B paper, your C paper, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have partners and you work with some that say, hey, I'll take, I'll give you all my A credit deals, but I want you to take some of my C and D stuff too. Not my perfect. And most banks are like, yeah, we want all your business. We don't want just your, marginal credit deals. I would like to see I'll do this one. I'll look at it a little different, but I want all your good stuff too. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. So there's a mix of credit. They bundle them with good ones. They sell them as safe investments. So they package up these deals and they sell them to insurance companies and, companies that hold pensions and companies that hold your 401k and all of that, okay? Investors buy them, including 401k and pension funds. Then the loans collapse, fraud surfaces, and they take losses. That's how that works. You're not just investing in a fund, you're investing in a system of risk, and they don't talk to you. You know that your 401k has some risk, right? Because it goes up and down, but you don't realize how that risk is affected when we're seeing what we're seeing right now, like it's major, okay? So that charge off by a regional bank, that hidden meeting between lenders, what you see on TV is only 10% of it. The rest is in contracts, the loan pools, the bundles, the package debt, the hidden debt, If you have any questions during this live, you can pop them in here and we can chat about it. All right, global bank trades. Oh, wait, I skipped this line. You might say, but I bank in the US. This is Europe and Asia's problem. So if you have global banks, so this is why global bank failures affect us in the United States as well. This is what I'm talking about now. Okay, so just because the bank is not here in the US doesn't mean, it's not going to affect us. It trickles to us too, okay? And both vice versa. So you might say, but I bank in the US. This is a Europe or Asia's problem. So if you heard about a bank failure in the UK or Europe or Asia, or you're hearing a major fraud or loan losses that's in the, out of the country, and so you think it doesn't affect us, it still does. So not anymore. Global banks trade with US banks. Did you hear that? Global banks, they do trades with US banks. Money moves across borders at the speed of a click. When a big bank in Europe takes a massive fraud loss, US banks are exposed, investors pull out, credit costs rise, loans become harder to get, and depositors feel it, even if their bank is local. So, yes, you are affected by what happens in Frankfurt, London, Tokyo, as much as Dallas, Atlanta. Your money is global, whether you like it or not. The new financial system that's coming. Okay, this is where I just feel like there's so many people not seeing this, or they don't believe it. Okay, but this is all, I believe it's all, I mean, it's a financial collapse, really. And it's to clean out the mess, okay, to bring in our new financial order or new system. That's what I believe. And you can take advantage of this right now. It's going to be the biggest wealth creation, generational wealth creation this we've ever seen in our lifetime. So you have an opportunity to create your own wealth, like millions, okay? And so this is kind of what I'm going to talk to you about right now. Here's where it gets exciting. The old system with thousands of banks, slow payments, stacked up paper is dying. And what is going to replace it? Digital currency, real-time payments, blockchain settlements, fewer but stronger banks, more transparency. Don't you think we need that? We need that in the big pharma. We need that in hospitals, healthcare. We need that with the government. We want transparency. We want truth, right? In the new system, banks won't hide loans anymore. Credit will move faster, but with clearer rules. You won't need to depend on a huge bank for your funds. You'll be able to see control and learn what's happening with your money. Everything is, you can't mess with it because it's going to be on the blockchain. So this isn't sci-fi. It's happening. It's already happening, y'all, right now. Okay, but if you don't start preparing, you'll be one of the people who still rely on the old ways when the system flips. You don't want to be that person. And I want to tell you, if you are in Bitcoin, or not blockchain, if you're in Bitcoin or any of these coins, if you've noticed like XRP, and I talk a lot about XRP because I believe in that. I know how it's going to be used with the banks and the Ethereum, these stable coins. I have some Ethereum, but I just want to say that the they've dropped in rate, but I believe it's all intentional. I believe they're manipulating the rates, because there's some big banks. There's this central bank, I think it was central bank, and it's in another country, but they have said that they're going to put in 100 million into digital currency. Well, I believe they're trying to encourage these big whales and banks that are going to be in place to buy in now so they can get with the program, because this is where we're going. So they're intentionally lowering the rate so they can buy in at a better rate. Well, that goes for even everyday people like us. So since the rate on Bitcoin and a lot of these stable coins and XRP, they've all dropped, this is the time to buy in. Don't get scared. I believe it's all intentional to help other people make money. Okay? People are making millions. Millions. So don't sleep on it. Okay? If you have questions about it at all, I can help you with that as well. Here's what you can do right now. This is not tomorrow, not when things get worse, right now. Have backups. One bank plus one another. You need to have relationships. Honestly, that was my favorite part in banking, is the relationships that I had with my clients. And when you have a relationship, a good relationship with your banker, they're going to tell you everything they know. If you're a really good client, your friend, they're going to say, hey, this is what's really going on. I mean, we're not sharing this with the news, but this is what's up. I want to make sure you're prepared. Some things they don't know about. Corporate keeps it corporate, and sometimes it doesn't trickle down to the bankers till it's, they find out they're being acquired. I've been through two acquisitions in the financial industry, so I know how that goes. So make sure you have relationships in financial services. And they, a lot of times, have people that they can connect you with to do all kinds of things, and they vetted them already and they trust them. Your money isn't all in one place. You don't want to have all your money in one place. Ask questions, check your 401k, ask where are we invested in? Or I'm sorry, what are we invested in? Banks, loans, high risk. Learn skills. That's another thing you can do. Your income should not depend on one job, one paycheck, one system. Build a savings buffer, even if it's small, even if you start tomorrow. Because when the system shifts, when banks merge or collapse, which they are, they're merging. And if you're following me on Instagram, I'm sharing those in the story, my stories. You can still be standing strong because you're aware. You're on top of it. You're not waiting for rescue. You're creating your own lifeline. So yes, your money is not safe in the old way, but the good news, you are in a new era. Share this video with someone who thinks their money is set it and forget it. If you want me to walk you through a step-by-step guide to protect your money, your future, your power, let me know in the comments. The financial system is changing, and you're going to change with it. So stay awake, stay in control, and stay empowered. I do have a guide if you need it, okay, to help you. It'll break down all of this stuff that's going on and offer some solutions and some things that you can do right now. And you just comment guide, and I'll get that over to you, okay? Have an incredible day, and I appreciate you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe.